I got blood on my hands right now, and I'm stumbling through the dark in the dawn. I have found new ways, but no, I can't be the one that you need.
Hey guys, it's Yaya and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to the 25 DIYs of Christmas. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you can stay tuned and keep up with all the DIYs I'm doing right up into Christmas Day, okay? Today we are featuring two new DIYs. One's going to be a botanical massage bar melt. Super excited about that one. And also a whipped botanical body butter. Both of these botanical DIYs can rejuvenate the skin and soothe irritation. And it also provides aromatherapy, which will allow you to stay calm and relaxed and, just some really great benefits. Okay, so let's jump right into the first DIY, which is our botanical massage bar melts. And I'm going to be using Kokum Butter and Marigold butter to create these melts. Now, just because you're using Kokum butter, which is a harder butter, doesn't mean that this is going to be a really solid bar. So if you're looking for something a little bit more solid like a lotion bar, please use beeswax or some other kind of wax to get that stiffness, okay? But these massage bars are really soft and they're designed to melt right in with ease, okay, as you will see later on. So once you have your butter combination, and you can use whatever combination you like, you're going to place it in a pan with just a little bit of water to create a double boiler, and then we're just going to melt our butters down on very low heat. While we're doing that, we're going to go ahead and prepare our liquid oils. I just picked some very light oils that will complement the butters so that they can provide the same similar benefits, absorb pretty fast, and also provide healing properties to the skin. So once we mix that in well, we're going to set it aside to cool down before we pour it into our mold. And also we're going to go ahead and put our botanicals in our mold. I'm using rose petals, lavender buds, and also some calendula, or you can also be called marigold. I chose these because they have just a beautiful fragrance, and I just thought it would be a very great complement to this massage bar, so you have some aromatherapy going on while you're getting your massage. Okay, so I just filled each container with a little bit of each flower, and I didn't mix them together just because I wanted to see aesthetically how they would look on their own. So I just did 3 to start off, and then I will move on into the others. And now that my mixture has slightly cooled, I'm going to go ahead and pour those into each slot. These will float to the top just a little, okay? And then I'm going to fill up the rest of the tray.
Small bar with neon lights, talked about everything that was on our mind. Talking to you gave me butterflies. Then you took my hand, said let's leave now. Don't wanna be shy, I will let my guard down. Don't wanna be shy,
Alright, so these already smell amazing on their own, but to add just a little bit extra aromatherapy, we're going to be adding some essential oils to each of the bars. Now, you could definitely add this to the mixture before you pour, but because these have different botanicals in each bar, I wanted to add ones that will complement each. So for the lavender bars, I got the lavender essential oil. For the rose, I have the rose oro essential oil, and then for the calendula, I used my favorite white tea essential oil to complement these bars as well. And that's it for these bars. You just need to place them in the freezer for however long it takes for them to harden. You want these to harden once you remove them. Because of my studio lace, you guys, they did start to melt down. So mine are not as hard as they would be if I had just got them out of the freezer, okay? So I had a little difficulty getting them out of the mold. But for you, once you take it out of the freezer, you should be able to plop them out immediately and then go ahead and package them up, because these are very sensitive, and you can see here as soon as I touch it, it starts to melt. Okay, so as soon as it comes into contact with the skin, it's going to start to melt, which is exactly what I wanted. Okay, we didn't add any beeswax or anything like that, so if you were to add beeswax, like if you were making a lotion bar or something like that, these will be a little harder, and then they also will not melt so easily. Okay, but we want these to melt and be amazing massage bars. Now it's up to you if you want to add beeswax or some other kind of wax to make it a little harder or not. But if you don't, even though the coconut butter is a hard butter, these still melt so super easily. So please, 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 please just be very cautious. I recommend freezing them and then immediately packaging them up. Probably use a utensil. I'm using the back of my spoon here to grab these and put them into the containers. I got these rose gold tin cans that I absolutely love. You guys seen these in a previous video, and I thought these would be the perfect containers to just really showcase how beautiful these botanical massage bars are. So that is it for our massage bar melts. I absolutely love them and they smell amazing. The only thing I would probably tweak, like I said, is to probably add a wax so that they can be a little harder, but I actually like them this way, especially if you make them even smaller. I believe that these are like 1 ounce each, but if you made them even smaller, then it'll melt instantly on contact with your skin, and then you just give yourself or someone else a really deep tissue massage. I think it's absolutely beautiful. You guys, you also want to make sure that you're not allergic to these flowers. Okay, these are dried flowers. You want to make sure you give yourself a skin test just to make sure there's no irritation there. Okay. As I said before, we're going to be playing with the ratios of these butters to get different outcomes. So this time we're using a little less mango butter than we did in the massage bar. And we're going to be using a little bit more kokum butter because I want this to be a thicker, fluffier or whipped butter. Okay, all right, so now that we have our butters, we're going to place them into a pan with just a little bit of water once again, and we're going to melt them down on low heat. While those are melting, we're going to go ahead and get our oils together. So this is going to be the oil combination that we'll use for our butter. You can use any oil combination that you prefer. You can use one oil or a combination of oils, just as long as it complements your butters well. With coconut butter, I feel like you have a little bit more leeway if you want to use a slightly heavier oil, because coconut butter absorbs super fast. It doesn't clog your skin and it's not so greasy like other butters. So you can play around with the oil combination a little bit more when you're using butters like coconut butter and mango butter. All right, so now that those are mixed in, we're going to place it in the freezer for about 15 to 20 minutes, or as long as it takes to get like a solidified state. If you leave it in a little too long, that is perfectly fine as well. You just want to take a utensil and just kind of mash it up a little bit or mix it around until it starts to kind of soften a little bit, and then you can whip it up just like that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and whip up my body butter, and I love this consistency. It came out exactly how I wanted it to. Absolutely beautiful. Now remember, whatever container you have it in is going to still be cold, so as you whip this up, you want to make sure you take some time to kind of scrape around the sides, because this is where the butter will come in contact with the coldest part of the container. You can also place your butter into a separate container and whip it up from there. Okay, so I'm using my immersion blender, which I just exchanged the attachment for the whisk that I have, and this is what I use to whip up the butter, but you can use whatever you have. If you have a hand mixer or a stand mixer, whatever you have, you can use that to whip up your butter. Okay, you just want to get as much air into it as possible to get that fluffy, beautiful consistency that you're looking for. I do recommend letting your butter sit for a little while and then coming back to it just to check to see if the consistency is what you want. You can always add a little bit more liquid oils if you feel like it's not what you want, or you can whip it just a little bit more to also get what you're looking for. Okay, just be in mind, because your container is still cold and fresh out of the freezer, that your butter will tend to probably stiffen or get harder faster. But no worries, as it comes back to room temperature, you'll get exactly what you want. Okay, so I'm gonna add just a simple blend of essential oils. I'm using some white tea, some rose risotto, a little bit of vanilla, and I also added a little bit of lavender as well. Okay, so because this is a product that is mostly oil, there's no water or anything in it, you just want to be very careful when handling this, especially if you don't add a preservative. If you add any water, any wet hands or anything like that, then yeah, you can contaminate it and it can grow mold. Okay, it's a lot harder for that to happen with these types of mixtures that's only oil based, but it can happen. So just be very careful when you're using these. If you don't use a preservative, avoid putting wet hands in the jar. Okay, speaking of jars, this is what the container I'm using to put my whipped body butter in. You guys have seen this in a previous video as well. I thought it would just be very cute to complement the massage bars. All right, you guys, that's it. What do you think about these 2 DIYs? Please leave your comments down below. I love hearing from you guys, and I try to reply back when I can. I am still doing orders, so it's been a little difficult for me to respond back to everyone. But the full list of ingredients and the measurements and all the other information is down in the description box below to help you navigate through, okay? Also, follow me on Instagram and all that good stuff for any upcoming news that I might have going on. And then also make sure you hit that notification bell, because it's the only way you can keep up with all the DIYs I'm coming out with. I have more coming for you guys. This is days 13 and 14, but I am catching up with the 25 DIYs of Christmas, so please stay tuned, you guys. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
I got blood on my hands right now.